Good morning, students. Very good morning. And today we are going to start the next unit, and the unit is going to have a concept called as dynamic diagrams, and we are going to see different types of dynamic diagrams. Fine. So we have. Yes, we have seen the concept of static diagrams in our previous unit, in unit 1 and unit 2, and now we are going to see about the dynamic diagram. Fine. So before getting into the implementation of diagrams, we will see what is the meaning of dynamic diagram. Fine. So these are the topics we are going to cover it. Just a dynamic diagram, and the basic one we'll call it as a UML interaction diagram. Fine. So here you have seen so many types of diagram, like class diagram, object diagram, component deployment, and all. Fine. So these four things will be categorized into a diagram called as a structural diagram. So we have some two standard formats of diagrams. You can see here UML standard diagrams. So what is the need for this diagrams is so if you want to meet the requirements, I'll be drawing everything in a diagrammatic way. Fine. So we have two categories under this. One is called as structural diagram, and another one is called as the behavioral diagrams. Fine. So we will see what is this structural diagram. So it's nothing but it purely tells about the static aspect of the system. Fine. So you know the meaning of static. Fine. So it won't be changing. That is what called as static. Fine. So that can be represented by classes, interfaces, objects, components, and nodes. Fine. So we have seen the four types of diagrams which is going to hold this particular static aspects. The four types are our class diagram, object diagram, component diagram, and deployment diagram. I'm sure that you have seen all these four diagrams in your previous units. Fine. So now we are going to see a different type of diagram is called as the behavioral diagram. Fine. So this diagram will be having concept of dynamic aspect. Okay, so what is a dynamic aspect is nothing but it's going to describe any system in a changing or a moving way. Okay, so I'm trying to capture, I'm going to draw a diagram for a moving or a changing of the system. Right? So it's very tougher for us to draw this dynamic diagram because we're going to capture the diagram in a moving way. Fine. So we have some 5 types of behavioral diagrams which will be achieving this particular aspect. Okay, our use case diagram, sequence diagram, collaboration diagram, state chart diagram, and comes the activity diagram. Fine. So these are the main things under the behavioral diagrams. Fine. So I think you have seen this use case diagram in your previous unit itself. Okay. So today we'll be having the concept of sequence, collaboration, and all those things. Fine. So I'll put all these types of diagrams into the diagram called as behavioral diagrams. Okay, which is going to hold a concept of dynamic aspect. Okay, so dynamic aspect is nothing but I'm going to make a representation of a changing system or a moving system. Okay, it's very difficult for us. We will see how we are going to implement this. Fine. So, I hope it's clear now. So we are talking about two types of diagrams. One is called as the structural one. Fine. Under structural, its another name is also like a static aspect. Okay, and another one is behavioral diagram, which is going to hold a dynamic aspect. Fine. So now we are going to proceed this unit 3 with our dynamic aspect diagrams. Fine. So I'll get into the next one. Now we will see what is this dynamic diagram mean actually. Okay, so we are trying to what today we will be describing everything in a term called as object here. Fine. So we are going to draw. Okay, this diagram will be having the object, attributes, and operations. So we are going to implement everything in a diagrammatic way. Fine. So purely we'll be telling about the state of the object here. You can see the second point. The dynamic model describes how the object change the state. Okay. Since I'm going to capture a moving thing, so here the state matters. From which state is going to change into another state. Okay, how the object is going to change this state, how this transition takes place. Fine. So we have to draw this in a very careful way. Fine. So also we have to have one thing in our mind is we are going to represent the time concept also here. In which time it's going to change the state. Okay, how many hours is going to take to change the object from one state into the another state. Fine. So these are things we have to keep in mind when you're going to have this dynamic diagram concept. Fine. So we'll have some main concepts in our dynamic diagram. Fine. We'll tell these are the important key terms. Like if you're going to say I'm going to draw, implement something in a dynamic way, these are the key terms we have to keep in our mind before drawing it. The first one is the state, second one is called as transition, then comes the event, and the last one is called as an action. Fine. State is nothing but it tells you about the particular point of the or a situation of my object. At what state my object is going to be. That is what called as state. Okay, don't worry, we will be seeing some examples for each and everything. Fine. So state is nothing but at a time, at a particular condition where my object is located. Okay, that is called as state. Fine. So transition, you know, the general meaning of transition is nothing but what is the change of my state from one state to another state. That is called as transition. My change of state, I will call it as a transition in a technical way. Fine. And next comes the thing called as event. Fine. Event is nothing but how to say, we are going to trigger the transition. We are going to trigger something. Fine. For example, if I'm going to I'm going to have a click on the mouse or pressing the keyboard, I'll call this as a event. Okay, this event is going to have some transition occurrence. That is what called as event. An occurrence that triggers the transition. That we call it as an event. Okay. Since we are speaking about the dynamic diagram concept, we will be having all these terms. Okay. State, transition, event, and last comes the action. Okay, so in a dynamic diagram we call this action as a uninterrupted and atomic computation. Okay, so what is the meaning of this? If it is going to start it, there should not be any interruption for the particular event. Okay, that is called as an action. Okay, for an event something will be happening. Okay, some process will be happening. I'll call that as an action. Fine. So we will see each and every concept in a detailed way. Fine. So we'll go to the first concept. My first concept is state. Fine. So it tells you the particular place where the object is. Okay. So we have different types of state, parts of state. Okay, we can have a different name for it, like a name of the state, entry, exit action, internal transition. I'll go for a pen. So name of the state, entry and exit transition, internal transition, and substates. Okay, so we are going to have some parts of states. Nothing but the name is nothing but a string or something is going to differentiate one state from the another. I'm going to specify a state. Okay, a string. It can be a string actually. Fine, which is going to tell you the from which state to which state I'm going to move. That is what the name. Fine. And next one is going to be the entry and the exit action. Fine. So this tells you about the action performed while entering and exiting the state. Fine. So internal transition is nothing but the changes within the state. That does not cause a change in the state. Fine. So we'll see a example for it. Fine. So usually in your previous diagrams and all, we'll be having a representation for the initial and the final state. That is what done here. For initial state, we'll be having a dark black circle, a filled black circle. You can see here. Okay, for a final state, we'll be having an unfilled black circle. That is what I'm telling you. Fine. So the default starting state of an object is called as a initial state. When an object is going to start, that is what our default, and we call this as a initial stage. At the completion, we'll call it as a final state. Fine. We will have an next part. Next part is our transition. Fine. So transition is nothing but the change of state. Okay, when an object is going to change the states from one state to another state, then I'll call this change as a transition. Fine. So in transition, what we can say, for example, how do you represent this transition like in a solid directed arc? Arc is nothing but like a curve, not a straight line, it's like a curve. From the source state to the destination state. This is what the representation of my transition. Okay, it's purely tells about the occurrence of my first state to a new state. I'm jumping from a state to another state. Fine, that is called as transition. And again, we have some major 5 parts of transition here. Fine, so these are the names given to the transition, like for example the source state. Okay, that is a state when I'm going to have a move, that is called as a source state. Fine, so next one is called as an event trigger. Okay, so when something is happening, then only this transition will be there. If some action has happening into this state, then I'll be having a transition, that is having a point called as event trigger. Okay, so when I'll be having this event trigger based upon some conditions, that we call it as a got conditions. Fine, so if there is a condition, then I'll go for a next state. Fine, and I'm going to have an action here. You know, this action is going to be and I can't able to interrupt this action. Okay, the action should be like that. Fine, and I'm going to have a target state from where I'm going to move it. That is what my destination state. So these are the terms given for the transition. Fine, so if you have seen about the state and the transition, state is nothing but the current place where the object has been is going to start before the transition. What is my state? That is what called as a state. Fine, so we have different types of state here, like name, entry, exit action, internal transition, and substate and all. Fine, so we'll going for the diagrams, we will see this in a very deeper way. Fine, so have a point like we have, these are the terms under the state. Fine, so how do you represent this state? If it's going to be an initial state, always use a dark black circle. If it is going to be a final state, use a unfilled black circle. Okay, keep in mind everything we are going to draw in a diagrammatic way. Okay, so this representation is very important to us. Then we'll go for the term called as transition. So it's nothing but I'm just moving a state from one state to a new state. Okay, here we can have so many terms like a source state or a destination state or a first state to a new state, whatever might be. So how do you represent this transition? Is not, we'll be using an arc, a solid arc. Okay, like a curve. Okay, to represent this transition format, from which state I'm moving to the next state. Okay, if you're going to have so many objects, fine, so you have to make clear the transition point there. Okay, which object is going to have a transition to which object, to which state. Fine, so we have some different parts under this transition. Also we have to specify this source state, trigger, got condition, action, and the target state. Fine, a simple example is shown here. Okay, so you can see an example here. For example, there is a person who's going to wait for a taxi. Fine, he want to go from the place X to place Y, assume like that. Fine, what will be the state of the person? Actually, you can see the state of the person will be waiting. Yeah, he is waiting for a taxi. Okay, then what happens once he is getting a taxi, the state changes from waiting state to the riding state. Okay, so when we'll be riding actually, so once he got a taxi, he started to travel on it. Okay, then we'll be reaching it. At one point, the taxi will be stopped at the destination. That is what called as reached state. Fine, so you can see the person is going to have so many states there: a waiting state, a riding state, and a reached state. Fine, so here I'm having a diagrammatic representation for this. I'm not giving any name for this diagram. Okay, just have a look on it. You can see I'm mentioning the initial state here, and then I'm having a final state. Okay, as it said, the initial state will be always in a dark black filled circle. Okay, and the final state will be like a double circle. The internal circle will be filled. Fine, so then I'm having an this state in a way like waiting and riding. Fine, I'm taking only 2 states for easier representation. I'm not taking this reached one. Fine, so waiting and riding. Okay, see here I'm using a transition here. As I said, the transition will be a solid, a dark arc with an arrow. Fine. So from the initial state, okay, the waiting will be the initial state, okay, then it's going to a riding state. Fine. So this transition tells us, okay, when I'm reaching the final state, fine. So when I'm going to reach the destination, I'll be going to the final state. Fine. So these blocks tells you about the state. I'm taking only two state, waiting and riding. That's it. Fine. So this is how I'm going to draw the dynamic diagram hereafter. Okay, I'm not going to take an exact representation of it, but these are the things I'll be having. Like initial state will be represented like this, transition will be like this, state will be in that particular format. Fine. Hope it's clear. Fine. And next we have a term called as events. Fine. So any doubts till now? Can I proceed? Can you give me an okay in the chat box? Shubha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, I can't able to view the chat box. So can you able to see and tell me?
Okay, ma'am. Clear.
Okay,
One
ma'am.
student said we are getting some other replies also. Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, then
No
I'll
problem,
proceed then. Yeah, fine. So then we'll go for the next part, and next is called as an events. Okay, so event is nothing but some occurrence or a triggering something. Okay, so that trigger will be done so that I'm just moving the state. For moving a transition, for moving a state from one state to another, I need an event there. Okay, so you can say in a simple term, it's nothing but some occurrence that can trigger the state. Fine, that is called as events. So if you're going to have these events, I have to be in clear about can you able to see the slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
No,
Yes, ma'am.
no, I'm not able to see my own screen here. It's turned black.
I think that day also this problem. You
yeah,
close it and again open it now.
Yeah, ma'am, I just made a stop sharing actually. 1 second.
Not visible, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's hanged. Yeah, I'm sharing it.
Ma'am?
Ma'am, I'm sharing it once again, ma'am. 1 second, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pradeep sir, see the chat, sir. OAD chat. WhatsApp chat.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you see the screen now? Yes, sir. Okay, sure.
Yes.
Now visible, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Food is also given.
Yeah. Fine then. So as I said, event will be nothing but it's going to have an occurrence, okay, which is going to trigger the state to perform some transition. Fine. So events will be having in time and space. Fine. So we're not going to much talk about the time period for an transition and all. Fine. So we're going to generally talk about the just a transition from one state to another and what event has been triggered to do this. Fine. So here we can see some example for these events like mouse click, key press, and all these are called as the events. Fine. So how do you represent this event in your diagram? Is I'll be writing this event along with my arc transition. along with my arc of transition. You can see an example here for an event. Find the same example I've taken here, the same person riding, waiting for a taxi and riding in it. Fine. So you can see here, and these two are my events. Okay. So there are two occurrence. First one is get taxi. Okay. Second occurrence, reach the destination. Fine. So these are the two events I'm going to write in this diagram. Fine. So this is about the way of writing your events in a diagrammatic way. Fine. So obviously this circle will be the initial state and this will be the final state, and all this thing will be the transitions. Fine. So when he is waiting for a taxi, fine. So when he's getting a taxi, he's changing from this state to this state. Okay. So the event will be getting an taxi. Fine. At the same time, he is riding. That is what one state. What is the final state actually? When he's going to reach, that will be the final state. Okay. So what event will be there when the address he got to reach, that will be the event actually. So reach destination will be the event for us. Fine. So hope it is fine. So it's going to be some conditions. When a state is running, if you're going to have some condition with that, then the state will be moved from one state to another state. We can say like that. Okay. Here the condition is getting a taxi is a condition, and getting the address to reach destination will be the condition. Fine. Next one. So here we are dividing this event into two major categories. Fine. Like external event and internal event. So external event is nothing but the user will be performing to the object or a system. Okay. Some person from outside will be performing it. Okay. For a system, if I'm going to have a mouse click or a key press, I'm the user. So I'm performing an external event to my system. Then I'll call it as an external event. Okay, so what about the internal event? Actually, assume the same system which is going to perform some internal events. For a good example is your like a stack overflow inside your memory, or a divide error inside the memory. So these are the events which is happening inside my system, within a system. So that is called as an internal events. Okay, hope it is clear. External event is nothing but as a user, I'm going to perform it to a system. Okay, so the user from the outside will be performing an event to the system. But what about this internal system? An event occurring within a system. Okay, a good example will be the system which is going to handle the stack overflow, divider, and all those things. Fine. So these are the main two categories of event: internal and external events. Fine. And we have one more event. It's called as different events. Is nothing but I'm not going to handle this event immediately, but I'll be having a queue for it. Later I'll be handling that event. That is called as different events. Fine. We'll be drawing this diagram. That at that time we'll be clear about these terms and all. Okay. Now have a point. So these are the types we are going to have in it. Fine. So next one is called as the event classes. And it's nothing but like a class will be having a group of events, okay, which is going to have a common structure and behavior. Fine. Assume I'm going to have some 50 events, 50 conditions. Okay, I'm making a group, okay, which is going to have a similar structure and behavior. Fine. So here you can see an example, like I'm going to have an event for departure of a flight. Okay, so what will be the event for it? A flight number, a flight city, okay, to city, the route. So these are the events which is going to change the state of my flight. Fine. So these are will be grouped into a main event called as flight depart. We can have so many event classes like that. Okay, so if there are some event we're going to have a common structure and behavior, I'll group them into a class called as event classes. Fine. So don't think much about it, we'll see this later. Fine. So these are about the events, and next comes the term called as action. Fine. So we know what is the action is. It's nothing but an operation, okay, that executes some result. That is what a general meaning for action, a process. Fine. So what does it mean of an atomic operation here? Fine. So atomic is nothing but an action should be an uninterruptible. Okay, there should not be any interruption in my action. It's called as an atomic operation. Fine. So, for example, if an action is, if an state has been started performing an action, okay, till it's reaching its completion, there should not be any interruption. Okay, that is called as an atomic operation. Fine. So during the when you're going to draw something, when you're going to draw a dynamic diagram, we have to have a eye on this. Okay, so I'm going to perform an action there. There should not be any interruption for an action. Okay, so it's nothing but when we're going to jump from one state to another state, there should not be any interruption for us. There should be a smooth way of reaching it. Fine. So this is about the action, and we have one more term inside this action is activity. Fine. So it's nothing but that requires some time period. So this activity tells you about the time period for our operations and all. Fine. So here there is a term called as this activity can be uninterrupted. So what is the meaning of this? There can be an interruption in my operation. Fine. So we will see this later. Fine. So just be clear about this action concept. So action is an atomic in the sense the actions are uninterruptible. There is no action by the transition of my state. Fine. So we have some different types here, like entry action, exit action, and all. So what is this entry action? Actually, is nothing but the action that is executed on entering a state. Fine. So for entering a state, what action is performed? That is called as entry action. Fine. So what about this exit action? The action that is executed while leaving a state. Fine. So now you can able to have that much of clear view about this, because we are not having any I think example for this. So later when we are going for this diagrammatic way, we'll be learning this. Fine. So then scenario is nothing but a scenario is a description actually to specify the sequence of action. So these are the different ways that are inside the action. We have to perform the activity. Okay, so we have to see about the entry and the exit actions, and we have to see about the scenarios. Scenario is nothing but a description, a specified sequence of action. Okay, many sequence of actions will be there. We call this as a scenario. Fine. So that's all about the basic of dynamic diagrams. Be clear in 4 important points. Fine. So what are the points are there for a dynamic diagram? You have to be clear about the state of the object. Fine. Next comes the transition of it, and next comes the event, and next comes the action. Fine. So these 4 things we'll be learning in a very deeper way. Fine. So next, how do you implement or this dynamic diagram thing? Fine. So we call this as a interaction diagram. Okay, so in a dynamic diagram, I'm just classifying it. The first part of implementing this dynamic diagram in a way, we call it as an interaction diagram. Fine. So the term itself is very clear for you. So what is the interaction actually? So some type of interaction among the elements. That is what I'm going to draw here. That is called as an interaction diagram. So if I'm going to have so many objects are there, so I'm going to perform the interaction diagram between these objects. Fine. So we have so many types of interaction diagram here. I think we'll be seeing the 2 types of it. Okay, one is called as a sequence diagram, and another one is called as a collaboration diagram. Fine. So this interactive behavior will be representing in UML format. So sequence diagram and collaboration diagram. Fine. So what is the purpose of this interaction diagram is, you can see it's mainly it's going to capture the dynamic aspect. That is what this is inside this dynamic diagrams category. Okay, so this interaction diagram will be capturing the dynamic aspect of our system. Okay, see how the messages are flowing, how the structure is going to be, so how the interaction between the objects is going to take place. Fine. So that is called as the interaction diagram. So I'm going to perform this interaction diagram in 2 ways, in 2 UML ways. One is called as the sequence diagram, and another one is called as the collaboration diagram. Fine. So we'll be in next class, we'll be seeing about this sequence and collaboration in a very diagrammatic way. Fine. So we'll take a scenario. We will see how this has been converted into a sequence and a collaboration diagram. Fine. This both will be handling a dynamic aspect, not a static aspect. Fine. Next comes the so how to draw this interaction. The small steps for us, what and all we have to consider actually. So the 3-4 main things, nothing but so what object I'm going to have for interaction, so how the message is going to flow between the objects. Okay, so in what sequence they are going to flow, so the object should be organized. These are general ways we have to consider before drawing a diagram. Fine. So it tells nothing but these 3 lines tells about the dynamic aspect. So what is the dynamic aspect actually? That's nothing but a running system at a particular moment. That is what I'm going to draw here actually. Fine. So it's a very important way of considering before drawing a diagram in a interaction concept. Fine. So it's a simple diagram, and it's not more sure we are going to draw like this, but I'm just having 2 diagrams here, 2 notations here, how to represent this interaction. Fine. So this bigger box tells you the like interaction representation. Fine. So inside this interaction, I'm having an type of diagram. We call this as an sequence 1 actually. Fine. So this is one interaction object, and this is also an interaction here actually. Okay, we have a term, technical term for this. Fine. So I'll call this as like interaction, like the term RSD and REF denotes here. Okay, we call this as an interaction reuse. Okay, so whenever I want, I can just reuse this interaction inside my whole system. Fine. And we call this as an inline interaction. We call this as an inline interaction because inside this interaction I can have so many types of diagrams are there. Fine. So don't get much confused about this. Have a point like we have a notation representation for an interaction. This is what the notation representation. Fine. So we have 2 things, SD and ref. Ref means I can able to reuse this interaction between so many other interactions. That is called as, that particular term will have as a term called as ref. Fine. So this is called as an inline interaction, a technical term. Fine. So we can have a small example denoting these 2 types here. You can see I'm having an we will call this as an interaction. Okay, interaction online shopping. Fine. So inside this again I'm having an a reuse interaction like a search item, checkout. Okay, so these are the interaction going to occur often actually. So I made this inside a reused one. So I gave a term called as REF. Fine. So we have an initial for it, we have a final for it. Fine. The same way, a bigger interaction is there. It's an inline interaction. That is what is SD ATM. Inside this, I'm having so many small reuse interactions. Okay, so here this flow is there. We have an initial and the final, and this diamond box tells you about the decision nodes actually. Fine. So this is how we are going to represent this interaction diagram, but in sequence and collaboration we'll be learning in a very different way. Fine. So we are not that much going to draw about the interaction diagram. Okay, so we're going to draw in a UML way for our sequence and collaboration. Fine. So I won't be telling this as a perfect UML diagram. Fine. This tells you about the how the interaction diagram will look like, how the notation of interaction looks like. Fine. So we won't be practicing this interaction diagram. We will be practicing the UML format of the sequence and collaboration in our later sessions. Fine. So that's all about this interaction diagram concept. Okay. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Today we have learned just about the dynamic diagram. Okay, 4 important points under the dynamic diagram, and we saw how we are going to implement this dynamic aspect through the interaction diagram. Fine. So again, we saw some 2 categories inside this interaction diagram: sequence and collaboration. That's all you have seen. Fine. Tomorrow we will see about this sequence and collaboration in a very detailed way. If you have doubts, you can just put in the chat box. I'm just seeing the chat box. If you want to proceed, I will just proceed it. If you give a okay, I'll go for the next slide. Yeah, Swati, you can use only a ref for it because it's like a keyword. I can't use any word other than that. This ref is the word is used, as well as SD is a word. SD word and inline inspection, and ref tells you about the reuse interaction actually. Okay. So I have to use only ref there. I can't use any other term instead of ref. Any other doubts?
One thing I want to tell, like ref, Geeta Rani ma'am, go to the previous slide, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll go, ma'am. 1
We
second.
saw that class diagram. In the class diagram, we used one loop. For iterations, we are using loop. In that also, instead of ref, you saw that LOOP. That loop is a keyword. It is used for mentioning the for loop. It means that that step is repeated for n number of times. Like that, here ref is used. Okay. So try to correlate with other diagrams also. Then only it will be clear and understandable for you all. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Other than that, okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Okay, then we'll go for QA now. Okay. So I'm just giving you a question. You can give me the answer now. It's your turn. I have taken the question based upon the concept what I thought. Can you give me the answer for the first one? Yeah, I'm getting the answers here. Yes, D. I've got an answer from Harshita. Yeah, the option is D. So as I said, we call this activity, use case, collaboration, and sequence. All this comes under the particular type called as behavioral diagram. Good, good. What about the second question? Which diagram that helps to show the dynamic aspect related to the system? If you want to implement this dynamic aspect, which diagram is used actually? Yeah, super, super good. The answer is going to be interaction. So I'm going to have an interaction diagram to implement my dynamic aspects. Super. Third one. I assume it's going to be a dash here, okay? Dash diagrams are type of class diagrams. It's very easy. Dash diagrams as a type of class diagram, component diagram, object diagram, and deployment diagram. I got an answer from Sanjay Charan. What about others? Yeah, Ujwala, Kirtana, yeah. I'm getting so many answers, and it's going to be a correct answer also. So the answer is A. We call this type of diagrams comes under a type called as a structural diagram. Superb. So last one, fourth one. It's very easy. Yeah, Sanjay Charan gave me an answer. Harshita with a smile. B. Okay. Then come on, students, have an interaction, because we are having a virtual class. So your chat, and you can unmute your mic, and also you can just give the answer so that it will be easy for us. Yeah, so it's very easy question. So we have two main types to to implement this interaction. We have two UML diagrams, we can say like that. The two UML diagrams are the sequence diagram, and one is called as a collaboration diagram. So it's going to fall under the types called as two types. So good. Those are given a good try. Fine. Yes, fine. Then that's it. Okay, thank you. Any other question? Hope it is clear. If it is clear, you can just give me an okay message or a thumbs up. So tomorrow we can have a very fresh concept. It's nothing but our sequence. Okay, ma'am.